with the Psalm for Shabbat on page 27 in your Siddur left. Shalom. Blessed to have my son Archer. Alei Asur va'alei Navel, Alei Adonai, Me'od Odam Kumashavotecha, Mizmor Shir Kumashavotecha, Mizmor Shir Shetulim, Shetulim, Beveit Adonai, Malachut Lavesh, Adonai, Malachut Lavesh, Lavesh, Rabim, Adirim, Nishbereya. Those observing a yahrzeit to rise now for Kaddish on page 30. V'gadach, v'ishtabach, v'hawar, v'tromam, v'naseh, v'tadar, v'talev, v'thalach. Torah,
Torah, Torah, Torah, Torah.
v'talev, v'thalach.
Torah, 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 Torah.
And hopefully you have grown closer to those who you had, taking up that Torah reading of reading, closer to those who you had, taking up that Torah reading of reading Az Yashir, and reading about the, and then they would, Az Yashir, and reading about the, and then they would get up and reading about the, and then they would get up and then they would kind of disappear, underneath. And actually, this was one of the things that started underneath. And actually, this was one of the things that started. Somebody would be so brave. As to have him one-on-one. I think I was just intimidated to the point where I storm patterns around the Red Sea on whether or not a reverse. Don't really question it all too much. We don't really question it all too much. We have faith that this just happened. And Nahum, that this just happened. And Nahum, who walked into the water and got, the time of working through water and got, the time of working through disease or illness, time of personal strife or illness, time of personal strife or there must have been something else at hand. And I accept that something else at hand. And I accept that not with it by a mighty hand and an outstretched arm. By a mighty hand and an outstretched arm that we don't necessarily have the evidence to prove.
Point out that it's traditional for us to remember exactly, Andre, what you shared about how God has redeemed us and redeemed our ancestors. And that there is a Ruach Adonai HaMevorach. Adonai HaMevorach. Le'olam va'ed. Page 41. Archer's going to lead with Masheva. Ubechol me'odecha. B'shivtecha u'leitecha. B'shivtecha u'leitecha. Elohechem emes. Le'olam va'ed. Le'olam va'ed. B'nei Kifad Adonai et Yaakov. B'nei Yisrael Adonai et Yaakov. B'nei Yisrael. Et Hashava. Et Hashava. Besharu. V'nei Yisrael. Besharu. V'nei Yisrael. Shabbat Merito, Asote Shabbat Merito, Vaydaber Moshe Adonai Agala, Vaydaber Moshe Adonai Agala, Vaydaber Moshe Adonai Agala, Agala, Uizman Karib, Agala, Uizman Karib, Uizman Karib, Amen. Amen. The inclusions for Passover. Amen. The inclusions for Passover. We also include the inclusions for Passover. We also include all of the additional red. Ki atahu melech atahu melech tasim leolam v'tov b'einayim leolam v'tov b'einayim leolam Berach Adin Mordechai ben Bela Merel bat Perla Tzvi ben Shoshana, Yudit Mordechai ben Bela Merel bat Perla Tzvi ben Shoshana, Yudit bat Yocheved Sarachel bat Cyril them and those dedicated to their care and make journey swiftly towards healing. Bless those in need of healing with refuge. Shalom Asanu Gegoyel Ratzah Lifnei Melech Malchei HaMelachim Lifnei Melech Malchei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Harry Friedkin, Shelley Helbergstad, Leo Drimmer, Kayas's dad, Helbergstad, Leo Drimmer, Kayas's dad, Lois Geffen, David Gass's dad, Lois Geffen, David Goodell's mom, Ruth Orloff, Robin Wolf's Goodell's mom, Ruth Orloff, Robin Wolf's grandmother, Biggleman, Ruth Orloff, Robin Wolf's grandmother, Biggleman's dad and Mark Wolf's grandfather, Melvin Marcus, his dad and Mark Wolf's grandfather, Melvin Marcus, Eric Marcus's dad, grandfather, Melvin Marcus, Eric Marcus's dad, and Elizabeth Marcus to Eric Marcus's dad, and Elizabeth Marcus to Trespiejon Vigome phone, Elizabeth Marcus to Trespiejon Vigome phone, L'chaye de Chol Trespiejon Vigome phone, L'chaye de Chol Beit Yisrael, L'chaye de Chol Beit Yisrael, Shishbachata v'nechmata, da amiran, Shishbachata v'nechmata, da amiran be'alamad, Amen, be'alamad, Amen. Please rise for Hatikva, page 448. Amen. Please rise for Hatikva, page 448. Please rise for Hatikva, page 448. Omer, but it is the Omer. Omer, but it is the Omer. Omer, but it is the Omer.
Vayishbot bayom hashvi'i Vayishbot bayom hashvi'i Mikol melachtaho asher asa Mikol aham Mikol melachtaho asher asa Mikol aham V'roman kol hashon V'kiddushayim v'mitzvotav V'atiten lanu anayot V'yisrael V'hazmanim Shalom, 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 shalom. Soll sein Shalom, 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 shalom. Soll sein jeden Shalom.